Hello everybody and welcome to our how-to guide for our midnight bat painting. Now, what we're going to need for this activity, it's very easy, we're going to get sucked straight into it. You're going to need some paint, a little empty paint mixing tub, some glue, a pencil, paintbrush, some black card and some white paper. So, I've got my white paper right here, and the first step we're going to do is we're going to paint our midnight background. Then we're going to add some cut out some cool little bats that we can stick over our page. We'll get to that later on, but first of all, to start off our painting stage, I'm just going to bring in, we need a white piece of paper, but I'm going to bring in a little background just to keep my desk clean. And what I've actually set up is a little black box so you can see where my page ends. Hopefully that'll make it easier to follow along to. And in our little mixing pot, we want to get our paintbrush and scoop out some of our white paint. So if I scooped out lots of our white paint, this is going to be the paint that we are going to use for our painting. We want to start off with white, and it's going to get increasingly darker and darker, and we're going to need 3 colours in total. We're going to need our white, we're going to need some blue, and we're going to need a little bit of black as well. So starting off with our white, it's going to seem very, very basic at the start, but don't worry, all the detail will be added in towards the middle and end. What I want to do is add a white circle. I know you're thinking a white circle on a white page. Well, just trust me and follow along. So we're going to do a nice white circle in our page. Then what we want to do is get increasingly darker as it goes out. So it'll start off white, and you can put your little white circle, your little white moon, anywhere in the page that you would like. I'm going to start up here in the top right hand corner. And this is just white, but as it goes out, every circle, every ring around it, we're going to make it darker and darker. So to make our white a little bit darker, I want to bring in a little bit of blue. And a really, really, really small bit of blue will do the job. So you can see my paintbrush, it's not covered completely, just a little bit. And I'm going to mix this into my paint tub. And I'm going to mix up and create a new colour. So it's be very subtle. This is just going to be a slightly darker white. We're starting to get a little bit more of a nice light blue even. Very, very, very light blue. Perfect. And I want to do the next step, that same step again, by adding a little bit more blue into the mix. So what I'm going to do is add more blue in. And you can see it's starting to get darker in colour. I'm going to add on another ring around the outside. And the reason I have a page in the background, or you might have a little painting mat down, is because I don't want to have to worry about making a mess when I get to the edge of my page. And you can see I'm getting close to the edge of the page where the black line is, but I'm just going to keep on drawing right round. Perfect. Then I'm going to add even more, let me see, even more blue in here. I'm laughing because I have a little dog running around here that's just attacking my foot. Oh, not picking up much blue there. I need to scoop out that little bit of white. There we go. Adding in more blue, and you can see it getting darker as we go. And I want to make sure I put lots of paint on here. You'll see why in a second. So I'm not worried about having these extra bits of blobs of paint on the screen from a page. Getting darker and darker as I go out, going back in for more blue. I'm going to go even darker, a bit more indeed. I'm going to do another circle. I won't be able to make the full circle, which is what I wanted, because it's starting to run out of the page. And if you're getting this far, you're doing so good so far, just keep it up. You can see we start off white, and it's getting darker into more of a darker blue shade as we go. So I'm going to add more blue again. And I'm going to add this onto the edge. I'm actually going to add a bit more blue in there just to make it even more darker. And if I add too much blue in, don't worry, you can just get a clean white paintbrush and add a bit more white in. Because I don't mind a little bit of white getting into my blue, but I don't want any blue getting into my white because it'll be a lot harder to fix for other projects. We're getting darker as we go, so more blue. You can see I'm fixing that white, it'll just blend in and you'll not even notice it. So adding more blue on to our brush and continuing to get darker. And as we're so far away from the moon now, I really want to get darker and darker and darker. So I'm going to add a lot more blue in. And I can, oh, that's a big bit of blue there. Hopefully you can see in my little paint tub, it's getting considerably darker. Perfect. And I recenter my page here. I'm going to finish off by just going in with a very dark blue on the edges. Step 1 complete. As you can see, what we've got is our white, and it's getting darker and darker and darker as we go out. What I want to do now is clean off my brush as much as I can. I don't have to go wash it, I'm just trying to get as much paint as I can. If I bring this up, you can see if I turn it around to a clean part, there's no paint, just the very top here. If I push this all the way down, you can see all this paint, this extra paint that is coming off all the way until my brush is pretty dry, pretty empty. And I can even get a little bit of scrap paper if I wanted to. And I have a little bit of black card here. And if I was to show you, what I can do is if I want to get even more off, I could, but this is enough because you can see it's starting to run out of paint. So if I bring this back, now what I want to do is I want to start to blend all of our colours together. And when I mean blend, oh, I was not trying to make a mess, I just did. When I say blend, you can see there's just all these different shades of colour as I go further out. I want to mix these together so you can't see that as obvious. So I'm just going to start off here. And I'm going to start going around the circle. Continuing to go all the way out further and further. Blending in. And if I miss a piece, I can easily go back. As we go further out, blending all these little edges where our two paints crossed over. Filling in any gaps that we might have missed in the first round. Until it has a nice blended effect. Now this is very light in some areas, so what I'm going to do is get a little bit of my darker blue and just add a small piece on to where I want to add little curves into the sky, and I'm following the circle pattern that we had before. So as you can see, I'm going along creating a nice little circular pattern around on my night sky all the way around. And then I'm going to go in and blend them in. Not too much this time, because I want to maintain that darker effect. And this is getting exactly what I would like it to. I'm going to get rid of all the excess blue off my brush. Once I've got that excess off, it's easier to just blend these colours in and give that darker pattern that I was looking for. If you want to go a step further, you can add a little bit of black in, which I'm going to, and I'm only going to use the smallest amount of black, and I'm going to do the same thing by adding just a few little black lines along our midnight sky, because it is a dark sky. I want to put quite a bit up there. I'm actually going to add nice little bits onto my corners as well. And again, going to get rid of all the excess off my brush. And I'm going to do a nice gentle, not pushing hard with my brush, and blend these into the sky. If I put too much on, I can just get rid of it into my little mixing pot. Perfect. Now, you should have finished your painting stage, and if I take this off the back, because I'm no longer painting, you can see I've got my nice background of my sky, and I'm very happy with it, especially now that I can see the clear edges on it. So you can clearly see my nice midnight sky. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this off to the side, and I'm going to have a nice safe place to put it, which is just over there. And I want to get ready to cut out some of my bats. Now, there's a couple of ways of doing this. We're going to need a little bit black card. I'm going to show you. Black card. If you got one of our monster packs, inside it you should have a little bat template, which looks like this here. And on the bat template, it had 3 different bats of 3 different sizes. And I've already gone and cut out the first 2 bats, and I'll show you one of them. There was one of our bat templates, and the little one was all the way down here. Then we'll use these bat templates, set it on a bit of card, and we can draw around this with our pencil. So I have to draw around all the way around here with my pencil. This will help me get our perfect bat shape. If you didn't want to get a monster packs, or you didn't have one of our monster packs, you can head online and just find a little bat template and print it off yourself. Or if you don't have a printer, I'm going to show you a way that you can draw it yourself. So you can see very roughly the outline of my bat shape. And this will help me get the shape that I need. So when I cut it out, I have my little bat. I did the same thing with my little middle bat as well. That created our little bat here. And our third one I'm going to cut out in just a second. Now, if you don't have a printer, or you didn't get one of our monster bat shapes, bat boxes that you can have, or monster art and craft boxes with our bat shapes in it, is what I was trying to say there. This is a little guide on how to draw a bat. So what we'll do is find the center of our page. We want to do 3 big arches, just like you might see on a bridge. So 1, 2, 3, and as you can see, these are getting higher as we go. And I want to do the same on the other side. 1, 2, and 3. Don't stress too much if it does not the same. You can see these 2 are slightly different sizes. It'll just make it look like the bat is flying away in a different direction. Now we want to do another arch, but it's going in this time and hooking all the way up. And the same on the other side, in and hooking all the way up. Then we want to go back to what our middle is. I'm going to put a wee dot just to remind us, which is just right here. I'll make it bigger so you can see. This is where we want our head to be. So I'm going to do an arch, and it's going to go upside down this side and quite big. I'm going to bring it nearly to the middle, but not all the way to the middle. One big arch. And I can fix this one to connect up. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. One big arch. Then when you want to finish off its little head, so it goes up into a point, and then down for one ear, little bump in its head, and then down up to the other ear. And whenever I cut that out, it will give us our little bat shape. Or you can cheat the system like I have. I've got our little bat template. I have glued it onto a black page, and I'm just going to finish off cutting it out. Cutting all the extras out. And you should be getting yours ready. You might need to pause and run off and get yourself a bat template, or you might need to pause and re-watch that last little section just to see the shape of the bat. It can be very easy to do. Just take your time and don't rush. You don't have to follow along at the same time of our video. And if I finish off just with his little head, I like to make his little head slightly bigger when I cut them out. And I can easily, when I was gluing this on, I only used a very small bit of Pritt stick. and I can pull off the outside of our template. Don't worry if a little bit gets stuck, as you can see here, because this is actually the back and this is going to be the front of our bat. So we've got our 3 bats, and if I was to bring in our painting again, so put our bats off to the side, and I brought our painting in, which already is very dry. It's getting there. I would say 5 more minutes, that would be perfect. We want to get our bats, so we want to put these in different orders. You can decide where you're going to put them. I'm also only going to glue the center of our bat. So if I was to get our glue stick, I'm going to use my little Pritt stick and glue only the center. Just one little strip of glue. Because when I glue this on, and you can pick wherever you like, but I'm going to get it flying away from the moon. Push down the center, but I'm going to bend its ear or its wings just up a little bit. So it looks like it's flying off our page. Then I'm going to get another bat, the next size down, which is going to be flying just behind it. And it'll look like the further away, the smaller they get. Or you can imagine it like a little family of bats flying on Halloween. And our last one, our smallest little bat, he's going to be the furthest away, all the way down here in the corner of our page. I'll move him up just to here. And you can see our little black bats on our page for our Halloween painting. So that is our little design. If you wanted to, you could go the extra mile and add a few little trees coloured in the bottom once we've dried. But that is our little bat midnight painting. You can see our moon in the background, with our background getting darker and darker and darker as it goes to get our final project. So, if you follow along today, make sure you let us know. As always, you can drop an email with a little picture of your design to halloween@activity.ni, or follow along. If you go down to comments, you'll see our social media. You can head over to our Facebook or our Twitter or even our Instagram and let us know how you got on through it as well. So, best of luck everybody, keep up the extra effort, and we'll see you at our next video.